Are you ready to break free from what's holding you back? Introducing Let It Go and Flourish, a transformative podcast that guides you toward becoming the best version of yourself professionally and personally. Each episode empowers you to release the limitations, fears, and old patterns that keep you stuck, while embracing the strategies and mindsets that lead to true success. Through powerful conversations and expert insights, you'll discover how to transform your career trajectory while maintaining inner balance. Build unshakable confidence in your abilities. Create meaningful relationships that support your growth. And master the art of letting go to make room for what serves you. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, building your dream business, or seeking deeper personal fulfillment, Let It Go and Flourish provides the guidance you need to thrive in all areas of life. Join our community of forward-thinking individuals who are ready to release what no longer serves them and step into their full potential. New episodes drop every Friday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. Visit merlinclark.com to listen to the podcast and take the first step toward your extraordinary future. Remember, your greatest self emerges when you let go of who you think you should be and embrace who you truly are. Let it go and flourish. Release, renew, and rise.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let It Go and Flourish podcast. In fact, this is episode 7 of season 1, and I am your host, Merlin A. Clark, and I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. Now, if you are tuning in for the very first time, Let It Go and Flourish is a transformative podcast that guides you to become the best version of yourself professionally and personally. The inspiration for the podcast came from my book, Let It Go and Flourish, Live a Life of Peace, Passion, and Purpose, which is available on Amazon, and you may also purchase a signed copy directly from me and pay an additional cost of $5, but that's for shipping. Now, today you are in for a special treat. I had none other than Sherylmays, our Chief Experience Officer, and she is my fantastic guest. And let me tell you something, she is going to drop major values here today. Major. But before I bring her to you, I want to share a little about Cheryl for you. Cheryl, a dynamic force in customer service excellence, and she's Chief Experience Officer, award-winning international speaker, 7 times author, Amazon best-selling author, and engaging on-air personality. Cheryl transforms how individual teams and organizations approach exceptional service and communication. She's president of Rise and Shine Consulting and Coaching Firm and founder of and Master the Sale Academy and host of the podcast, The Customer's Tea, where we spill the tea. She's been dubbed your insider for all things customer service. Cheryl believes kindness is key in business. It's delivered through service, creating happier customers and boosting bottom lines. Her virtual Master the Sale Academy helps employees build confidence, enhance skills, and exceed expectations, ensuring customer loyalty by design, not accident. Ready to elevate your customer satisfaction? Then, if so, connect with Cheryl after the show. Cheryl, welcome to Let It Go and Flourish podcast show.
Thank you so much, Merle. Oh my gosh, we've been trying to do this for a while, and here it is right now happening.
Happening. And it's going, I know, every time you try to do something amazing, some negative things pop up. But here we are because she is going to be dropping major values, right? Now, Cheryl, I met you on Clubhouse a few years
Yes.
ago, and it was in the Genuine Connections room operated by Dr. Femi. And I
Yes.
recall you dropping major values there during those sessions. And then we connected on LinkedIn and have been engaging since then, correct?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, those years of Clubhouse.
Yes, yes.
We were connecting worldwide. They were awesome times. Had some great connections through there, and you are definitely one of them. And then I came into your room where you had a club, the leadership club.
Let us talk leadership. Let's
Yes,
talk leadership. Yes, yes. Thank you
time
so much.
flies.
Time flies, but that's what we do. We drop major value for our audience so that they can thrive, not just survive, right?
Mhm.
Now, let's dig into this, okay? Now, Cheryl, as Chief Experience Officer for your company, how do you feel like you're adding value to your clients?
It's interesting because what I get to do is to work with organizations, their leaders, as well as their employees in three different areas. In leadership, because leading by example, how you treat your employees, because those are internal customers. How you treat your employees resonates in the manner in which they then treat your customers. So in communication, it's vital and it's important to be able to communicate effectively, to be able to use tact, diplomacy, and professionalism, to be able to take negative experiences and turn them around to positive experiences. Because we know in businesses, it's about retention, it's about profit of the bottom line, right? That revenue line. And it's about employee engagement. How do we retain our employees and how are they engaging with those that they serve? So I get the opportunity of being able to come in and go through a series of communication skills and trainings and workshops that allows people to walk away feeling much better about how they communicate internally as well as externally.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Communication is key,
Mhm.
because oftentimes when I work with organizations myself to help them build stronger teams, a lot of times people are focused on that revenue and they don't understand that to get to that bottom line and increase their revenue, they have to work on their employees and get them excellent customer services skills and communication skills, because you could have a major client, and if you communicate just that once, you communicate with them in a disrespectful way, you could lose that contract. So,
Absolutely.
mhm,
We always talk about the customer's lifetime value, right? What is the reward or the reciprocity for, you talked early on about my impact using the phrase kindness, because
yeah,
it really boils down to being kind. Kindness in business is profitable, right? There are rewards that come from being kind. You increase your customers' retention, which means they're going to buy more. They're going to be a customer much longer. They're going to go out and they're going to talk about that positive experience to their friends, their families, and their colleagues. And they're going to come back time and time again. So that there increases the bottom line.
absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes some business owners really don't know. And that's why they need people like you and myself to come and help them be empathetic, generous, and understanding that, yes, you're there to make a profit, but generosity and gratitude are two cousins that they can't do their business without having that in place. So thank you
Exactly.
so much. Thank you. Great. Now, over the years, you have served as a mentor for entrepreneurs through the nonprofit organizations at Score Orlando. Please share a little about that for me.
Absolutely. I started out with SCORE as a mentor. and still have the opportunity of being a mentor, although I also host their show, their segment, Coffee with a Leader. And SCORE has more than 400 chapters nationwide, and they partner entrepreneurs, folks that are coming in with these incredible ideas about what they want to do to impact the world, the businesses that they want to start, the legacies that they want to leave for their families. And they need resources. They might need help in building a business plan, a marketing plan. How do I get funding? How do I market? What's a sales strategy? And these are some things that as an entrepreneur, your resources are not plentiful, right? When it comes to those types of services needed. And so SCORE offers that free of charge. You can come in, you receive an expert mentor that's been in their field. Most of them are retired. So they've gone the gamut of starting the business, ending the business, starting multiple businesses. Some are serial entrepreneurs. And then you have those like me that are still working, that get to come in and actually share what's happening in today's world. And one of the aspects that I focus on is helping them create the customer's journey. What's the journey that you would like for your customers to have? Right? Because we can go under the concept, right? If I build it, they will come. But that's not a reality. That's not how it happens. You have to design what you want your customers to experience in order to reap the reciprocity of what we just talked about.
Correct. You know, that's great. I think the recipients of the benefits from SCORE, they are very fortunate, because it's important to learn from people who have done what you would like to do, like those retirees and the serial entrepreneurs. And then people like yourself, you are still doing it, you know, because oftentimes you hear people talk about, well, this person helped me with this, and that person has never done what you would like to do, but they're getting help from people who have not done what they would like to do. So it's amazing. And I congratulate the retirees they love what they do so much that they're adding value to people who are coming behind them. And that's wonderful. That's called impact right there. And what you're doing with your busy schedule to take time out to do that, that is amazing. And I love it. You touched briefly on the coffee chat. Right?
Coffee with the Leader.
Coffee with the leaders. So tell me a little more about that.
Absolutely. So twice a month, I host the program Coffee with the Leader through SCORE, and we bring in expert speakers that these entrepreneurs might not have access to. Again, right? When you need a plethora of resources. Sometimes those resources are out of your financial grasp. And so this is an opportunity for you to hear from folks that are in social media. They are in funding capabilities. They're in even credit repair. They're also in leadership, communication. You know, how do we mine contractors? How do we, manage the mix? And so there is a myriad of topics, but all necessary for the customer, not only the customer, all necessary for the entrepreneur's journey of things that you would need to put into your parachute, right? What is it that you need to put into your parachute so when you jump off the cliff, you can still fly?
That's right. That's right. Great. Fantastic. That's a great idea. I belong to a local chamber of commerce, and they have something similar called the Leadership Roundtable, and I sometimes participate, by delivering a training. So last 2 months ago, I delivered a training on networking, for people who are introverts and they don't feel comfortable networking. And that's why you're there, but because they don't feel comfortable. So I delivered a training for that, how to network with confidence. So that's great.
And that's huge.
Yes,
right. That's huge for an entrepreneur, and you
Absolutely.
talked about introverts. And I always say you might be an introvert, but your business is an extrovert. So you got to tell people.
Yes. If not, you'll be the best kept secret in your community. Nobody knows about you.
There
And
you
what's the
go.
purpose of attending these networking events if you don't feel comfortable approaching someone? So that workshop was about helping them to do so effectively,
Hmm.
because a lot of people feel that because they're introverts, they can't get out there. They would like to, but you have to get over that fear,
Yeah.
and that's what it's, that's what we're there for, to help them do just that. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm just loving this. Okay, now you have shared that small business owners who receive just 3 to 4 hours of mentoring report higher revenues and increased growth. How does that work?
So, as a mentor, you have an opportunity
Mhm.
to instill some strategic steps as you work with your mentee and you're putting steps in place. Now, here's where the reality check comes in, is that it's great to have these steps, but if you're not implementing the steps, right, then the work is for naught, and you don't see, even the slightest increase in revenue. And there are many times when we have had mentees or individuals that will go from workshop to workshop, from workshop to workshop, but yet they don't implement anything, right? And that's where we have that concept of knowledge is great, but applied knowledge, right? Applied knowledge is where the difference is. That's where the impact comes in. And so
Absolutely.
when you actually do the work, then
Mhm.
you see the change in all of your metrics, right? Rather it's
Absolutely.
revenue, rather it's sustainability, rather it's in processes, rather it's in SOPs. All of those metrics only enhance when you do the work on a consistent basis.
That is so key. And what comes to mind as you say that is, I was in a room on Chatter and I was talking about some of the work that I do with DISC because I'm a DISC behavioral analyst. And he said, they came on my job and they did the DISC thing, but I don't see where it works. I said, now, did the coach make some recommendations? He said, yes, but I said, so did you follow through
Mhm.
with the recommendations that that consultant made? Well, actually, no. I said, it doesn't work if you don't follow through. So
Mhm.
ask yourself the question, why did you bring that consultant in the first place? Why were they there? Is it because you have this budget for training and you want to use it up before the year ends? If that's your reason, then there's no value in that.
Mhm.
You bring a consultant in because you see a need, and when they make recommendations, it's your responsibility to follow up and do the work. And
Yeah.
whether it's in leadership coaching or life coaching, you do the work, because if you don't, you're not going to get the desired outcome. It's not going to just happen by osmosis. You have to do the work. So that's
Exactly.
major.
Exactly. There were times when I would come in and do customer service training. And the first thing that I do is I go through a list of what's going to happen after the training, right? What's your make it stick plan? Because if you do it as an annual, check the box, up, did the training, then it doesn't become a way of life. It doesn't become a part of the culture. When it becomes a part of the culture, everybody is talking about it, everybody is seeing it happen, then it becomes a matter of this is how we do business. This is who we are. But if
That's
that's not in place, then it just becomes, yeah, we did the thing.
yeah, check box.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking for real transformation, then you must do the work. It goes way beyond checking off that box on the
Mm-hmm.
paper.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Now, share with the audience how they can pivot so they don't perish.
That's an interesting phrase, right? Pivot so you don't perish. Um, Pivot became such a magnitude of a word during COVID, right? We heard that word till nauseum, right? Everybody had to learn how to pivot, pivot, pivot. I kind of like the refining, right? How do we refine what we're doing so that we don't perish? So in that we have to have a location of where I want to go. And what's the place that I want to get to? It's kind of like driving and going on a vacation, right? I'm starting in Maryland, but in order to get to Florida, I can't just get in my car and randomly drive. I have to have a plan. I have to look for landmarks.
Great.
Right. So what does that look like in a business conversation? I have to have milestones, right? Those are my landmarks. Tells me I'm on target. I'm heading into the direction that I want to go to so that my destination is reachable.
Correct.
So if I'm refining, I have the capability of being able to see, can I be flexible enough to stay on task, but be able to maneuver? Right? Do I have the capability of being able to maneuver without saying adamantly no? Sometimes as business owners, we have these ideas that just rest on our heart. It is so heartfelt, right? And it's the thing that makes us wake up in the morning. And then you have somebody say, look, you got to make a turn left. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. No, that's the thing. It's got to be the thing. But we have to have a reality check, right? If the thing is not getting you to your destination, then it's okay, right? It's okay to turn left, but you're still going to get there. You might even get there quicker. You might get there more productive, right? But if I don't have that capability of being able to say, I want the destination, I want to get there, and I have to find the best route. And if I have to make a change, if I have to change a process, if I have to make a strategic decision to go in another direction, I need to be okay with that.
Yes.
And if I'm not okay with that, then the chances are I'm not going to get to the place. Right? And then what happens? I get frustrated, I get disappointed, I get disillusioned, and I quit.
Absolutely.
And I never get there.
Absolutely.
And then I go into the whole realm of regrets, right? Those life regrets that we have about I shoulda, coulda, woulda, when all I needed to do was turn left and I would have been okay. And so we use that phrase pivot, but I like to use the phrase refine, because when I can refine mentally, what I'm saying to myself is I'm making my idea better.
Yes.
I think when we say the word pivot, it comes with, I need to change what I'm doing and go in another direction. And that's not necessarily so. So I'm a huge advocate on the words that we speak, right? Because the words that we speak, especially when we do our own self-talk,
yes,
right? We have to be able to use words that's going to push us forward and not words that's going to either stagnate me or make me retreat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you use the word refine. And one of the things that entrepreneurs need to remember is that if things don't go well the way you're doing it, is you're not starting from scratch the next round. You start where you are because you have learned some things that you won't do things as you have done in the past. You learn from your mistakes, you document those mistakes, you won't repeat them. And you have something to start with now, not over, but you start where you are. And I love the word adaptability, because you want to look at the environment that you're in now. Okay? What is my current environment? And how do I refine what I do to adapt to this current environment? Because what worked 6 months or a year ago may not work today in today's environment. So that's why entrepreneurs, leaders, we have to be constantly innovating. We must have a growth mindset in order to move forward and move our teams forward, because we're not doing it alone. We are doing it with our teams that help us, whether we're a solopreneur and we contract 1099 workers or we have employees, they are our teams and who we are relying on to help us get there. So thanks for dropping that for us. Now, if your audience, now let me jump to this. If I'm jumping ahead of myself because I want to talk to you about your books. You have authored 7 books. How can your audience learn more and purchase your books?
Absolutely. You can go to my website at risingandshine.com, all spelled out. You can follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn, all of my social media links are accessible to me. The thing that I'll share is that the first book that I wrote is about entrepreneurship. And it's about living the dream, right? Because every entrepreneur, that's where we start. Right. That was the joy of entrepreneurship, is that it came from a dream. Right. It came from something that rested on my heart. Maybe I woke up one morning and I said, you know what? I'm done working 9 to 5. I want to claim my own time. I want my own calendar. I want to do my own thing. Maybe it's the thought of I've been so successful in my career for someone else. If I put that same amount of effort into what I want to do, could I still be that successful? Absolutely. And so that's the first book. It's really about taking that dream out of your heart, putting it out there into the world and manifesting it and then bringing it into reality. 2 of the other books are on leadership and they're collaboration books. And so they're a joint project with, one is with, I believe, 40 authors. The other one is with 20 authors. And we all share a story about our path to leadership. It's interesting because there's that question, are leaders born or are they made? Right. And I think that's one of those old questions that can go on forever. And so we talk about that, right, in the book, because there are skills that you acquire along your career that allows you to be a better, more influential leader.
Absolutely.
Right? Thus, we take away the term boss and replace that with leader, right? 2 totally different concepts. And so the authors in that book share about the journey that it took to be a leader, the one that you are today, that's impactful, that's making a difference in the lives of others, because that's the role of a leader. Another book is about the joy of work, right? The work that we do. One of the things that I always embed into my trainings is that when you see your work as being worthwhile, where you are making a much bigger impact in the world than that widget that you're making is not just a piece of steel, right? That widget is going to do something that's going to allow, maybe it goes into a vehicle and it allows a family to go from destination 1 to destination Z on vacation safely, right? Maybe it's a new concept of a flavored, I remember the story of Think Like a Boss. And I think his name was Richard Mendez, and I might have his name wrong, but he started out as a janitor and he came up with this new Cheetos flavor. And he ended up becoming the first Hispanic VP, but because he had that thought in his heart and his dream, and he put himself out there, and he made it happen. And so the work that he did as a janitor became worthwhile because it gave him access. Right. So how are we looking at the work that we're doing and not just saying, okay, I'm going to punch the clock and I'm going to pay the bills, but to see it as a much bigger impact? Now I show up differently. I feel differently about what I do every day. And that makes a big difference in the results. Right now, my outcomes, my performance has now enhanced because I'm looking through a different lens.
Absolutely.
And so I love that book. The last book I'll talk about in a moment. The other 3 are digital journals. So they're digital journals, and they're really about the words that we utilize. I am an affirmation guru. I love and believe in affirmations in everything that we do. We have to speak into it. And so I have 3 separate journals that are digital. One is for bonding mothers and daughters. I love that when it happened between my daughter and myself. And, it's really about seeing this young person that you have given birth to, and you look at them and you have all of these dreams for them and all of the things that you would like for them to accomplish in the world. And then you look at them one day and they're looking back at you as a woman. And you realize that you now have done your job, but you still have life. You still have life in you. Yeah. And how do you now communicate woman to woman? And so I have a certain heartstring attached to that one. The other one is on entrepreneurs, to be able to speak into the business, to speak into each quarter. What are my goals for Q1, Q2, 3, and 4? And it really breaks it down as a roadmap. And it also helps you to learn how to celebrate, which is something as entrepreneurs we don't do until we see the confetti fall from the sky, right? But what are those small things that keep us going that we need to stop, recognize, and celebrate? And then the other one is for life. It is for going through this life that we live every single day and expecting joy and abundance, and then being able to speak to it and to understand the opportunity that we have, that when we put it out there in the universe, right, we're sending a message that is far bigger than us. Yes. And so those are the affirmation e-journals. And so I have a huge heartstring for those. And then the final baby that I have is based on customer service, and it's called the heart-driven seller, how customer care wins deals and builds loyalty. And it's a really deep dive into how it doesn't matter what role you're in the organization, how you impact the outcome by understanding empathy, listening, understanding what I like to call the flywheel effect of service, when you're not creating clogs in the wheel, but you're building momentum. And it's continuous, which means the employee is receiving, the customer is receiving, the business is receiving, and that's just looping. And it's because you're doing these things that allows you to create this exceptional level of service. And the impact in that book is that every chapter stops you and says, okay, now what are you going to do with this information? Yeah. So it's not just read it, but it's stop, gather it in your thoughts. And now how are you going to apply it into what you do each day that makes it real? And you see the changes in there. So I'm really excited about all of the books that I've had an opportunity to participate in. I've had some really great reviews. And so if you read any of the books, please go to Amazon and write a review. As authors, Meryl, you know for a fact, as authors, we love reviews.
You love reviews.
It helps us to further our missions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. That's major. And you talk about empathy. You talk about what leadership is. I don't like the term boss. And so many people still use the terms managers and leaders interchangeably, and they're not the same. Right. Because managers manage processes and leaders influence. You're leading people, you're influencing them to take actions. Because everything that you talk about here, no matter what you've communicated, no matter how you have mentored, and you've given strategies, tips, if they don't apply any of those to their daily lives, it's for naught. It's like that conversation did not take place. It's like that workshop did not take place. That coaching session did not take place. So we get out of things what we invest. So for organizations who invest and bringing consultants in, like Cheryl or myself, to come into your organizations, make sure you follow through with the application, because that's where you get the secret sauce. That's where the secret sauce is, in the follow through, to make sure that, and you want to make sure you're measuring your progress.
Mm-hmm.
You want to measure to see, well, where were we 6 months ago? And now that we've had this training, where are we now? Because the only people you should be comparing yourselves with is yourself, not
Mm-hmm.
someone else. Where were you 6 months ago, and how are you today? How have you grown? Did you apply those principles daily? And what words are you using to yourself? You're big on words, the affirmation, and speaking positive words to yourselves and to others. And as leaders, we want to be careful of how we communicate with our team members.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate in a positive way, the way you want to receive it. That leaves a lasting impact. And again, you touched on influence,
Mm-hmm.
because leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Dr. John C. Maxwell. If you're leading someone and they're not following, you're just taking a walk. You're just taking a walk. You're not leading. You should be influencing them. What are you doing to enact change? What are
Mm-hmm.
you doing to get them to move from where they are to where they need to be?
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing that?
You
How
know,
are you leading? You know?
the one thing I'll say with that too, Merle, is because I love exactly what you're saying, is that, and I share this with leaders, is that think about the role that you're in, and every comment that you make is either going to enhance someone's performance or it's going to decrease someone's performance. That's the power that you possess.
And you use the word power,
Mm-hmm.
because our behavior towards others, to your staff, can either raise the morale in the workplace or dampen that morale. So we have to be very careful. And the word power, because someone in leadership has the power to either help that person grow
Mm-hmm.
or not. So as a leader, we should be more about empowering.
Mm-hmm.
We have the power, we have the authority. Use it to empower your people. When you empower them, when you give them the training that they desire, now you are comfortable delegating to them. And when you delegate to them, do you know how empowering that is? You trust me to handle this. You're now giving this to me. That used to be your baby. You used to do that on your own. Now you're giving that to me to handle. That's empowering right there. You trust me enough to delegate this task to me, that you were the only one handling that. That is empowering right there.
Mm-hmm. And think about the impact of, again, right, doing work that's worthwhile. Right, I'm doing something outside of my general duties.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's
Yeah.
it. It just takes people to another level. And we can look at all the statistics, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
can look at Gallup polls, you can look at Bain and Company, you can look at Bloomberg, all of these statistics that come out, and it all comes down to one thing, right? When you help your employees to grow, when you help them to be more developed, when you help them by giving them the training or the access, their performance improves, which means the company's objectives are going to be met. All of that comes hand in hand, but it starts with the people.
Absolutely. You
It
can't do
starts.
anything without them. Yes. Yes. This is major. You have dropped major value. And what I have done, I've already pasted I have copied your contact information
Awesome.
in the comment section so that if people want to purchase any of your books, if they want to connect with you on social media, they have that information right there. You have been an amazing guest, and it was such a pleasure having you on. I mean, we finally connected, and we will do this again because next year or 6 months from now, you may have something new that you want to share with this amazing audience. So, thank you
Always.
so much for dropping major value. Thank you so much for all that you do in the SCORE organization, in your business, and all those people in Orlando and worldwide because we're virtual, right? So that's
Absolutely.
amazing. So thank you, Cheryl. And before we leave, I want to encourage you to go to Cheryl's website and her social media, connect with her, look at her book, purchase her books. I've copied that information there. And you can purchase a copy of my book, Let It Go and Flourish, on Amazon. Just type that in, Let It Go and Flourish, Live a Life of Peace, Passion, and Purpose, and it pops up. Or you can get a signed copy from me by messaging me or emailing me and add an additional $5 to cover the postage to you. So I'm going to close with something fun for you, a word from our sponsor. And here we go. All right. All right. Thank you so much.
Ready to take your leadership mindset to the next level? Step into the world of Mac leadership apparel and gear up with t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, home goods, drinkware, and more. Each designed to inspire confidence in every step of your journey. Transform your daily routine with pieces that spark motivation, celebrate your growth, and help you stand out as a leader who's not afraid to be bold. Head to merlinclark.com now and discover how your style can fuel your success. Don't wait. Lead your life, live your purpose, and show it off every day.
Bye.